Hello and welcome to this pit stop for Raiatea, designed by Jan Schmidt and published by Quined Games. Raiatea is a game for 3 to 5 players in which players are attempting to be the most successful chieftains in their South Pacific village. Play goes over a series of action and then ceremonial rounds. Now, in an action round, you're going to have a first player that moves clockwise around the table. And on each player's turn, they're going to choose one of the 6 locations in the village. They're going to activate it. The player that chose the particular location becomes the kahuna and gets a bonus, but every player gets to take an action every time an area is selected. So what are those areas? We've got the forest area here. When we go to the forest area, each player is going to get to draw one of these forest cards, starting with the kahuna and going clockwise, and then they'll refill one more than each player in the game, and then again starting with the kahuna but going anti-clockwise this time, everyone gets to take one of them. Now there are 3 different types, as we can see. There are masks, which you can collect in pairs and they'll give you endgame scoring. There are commodities, which you can be able to pay throughout the game to take various actions. And then there are assistants. Now assistants are going to give you bonuses when you go to various areas, and they all have a one-off power you can turn them to use as well. For example, this pearl diver here will assist us when we go to this second location, which is the Pearl Reef. When we go to the Pearl Reef, the kahuna immediately gets 3 pearls. Then we're going to roll this die. It's the only die in the game, but activates lots of things. And whatever number is rolled, there's a 4 there. Everyone also gets that number of pearls, including the kahuna. And we're also going to roll a die. And depending upon how many pearl divers you have, if you have that number or more, they're going to activate and give you extra pearls. So you want to collect sets of these 4 different assistants. The next area we can go to is the marae. Now, when we go to the marae, you can spend one of those commodities, affecting its price in the market, and you can move up 1 space on this to 2 track. As you go up to 2 track, they're going to give you access to different rituals. You need to be higher up. These are the normal ones, everyone can access them, and those are the forbidden ones over there. And they'll be more expensive to activate, but they'll give you more powerful options, and these rituals will come into play during the ceremonial rounds, which we're going to get to. The kahuna there gets to do the thing twice, paying another commodity and go up another space. When we come down here to the market, we can also hand in those commodities. When we hand again, we affect the price, and we can take a bonus from whatever the price is. So we might get a bonus to our rituals and tattoos here, or to our assistants, or to our mana, or to our pearls, which I've mentioned. And those are the 2 main currencies in the game. Mana let you do these rituals, and pearls will let you pay for various things, as we see as we go around. The kahuna again gets to do that twice. When you come down here to the neighborhood, that's how you're going to help to get these pairs of masks, because they're worth nothing unless you've got an exact pair. Every player going clockwise gets to put one of their masks into the market, and then every player again going clockwise gets to take any of those masks out of the market, with the kahuna going first. Also, the kahuna gets to complete one of the face-up toll missions. Now, these again are mostly going to be done at the end of a ceremonial round, but here's a chance to grab one. And they come in levels 1, 2, and 3. And as you go through the 3 ceremonial rounds, they become available to you. And when you complete them, you get a number of points equal to whatever level on the toll mission they were. The last place we can go to is the Path of the Gods. Now, down at the Path of the Gods, players get a chance to pay pearls in order to take priests, 2 for 1 or 5 for 2. And after everyone has paid and taken priests, the kahuna gets 1 free one, and then everyone gets an income in mana equal to the number of priests they have. Now, once everyone's chosen all of those locations, you're going to move on. If you move on to another action round, we'll just reset and carry on. Once you get to a ceremonial round, then everything changes, and we can do a completely different set of things. The first thing we do is the Dance of Priests, in which you get to pay pearls again in order to get priests, and you get your mana income from priests again. Second thing you can get to do then is you can pay 3 mana in order to get another selection of ritual cards and retain 1. Now, the difference here is when you pay this, it's going to go into this sacrifice bag, and we'll see why that becomes significant. Because the next thing we do is everyone gets to put 2, or if they're higher up enough on the tattoo track, 3 ritual cards into here. They mark them with their own clips to show that they're theirs, and then everyone puts those cards in here. Next thing we do is the Incantation of the Gods, in which each player blind bids a certain amount of mana. You put them all in the middle. Once everyone's put them in, you open them up and you see who's bid the most. And then we look at the ceremonial track, and whoever's paid the most is going to go first, and the least is going to go last. And if there are any ties, you retain your order. Now, all of the mana that's been paid in this way significantly again goes into this sacrifice bag, and we're going to see why in a sec. Firstly, there's a small amount of bonuses gets paid out for first, second and third. As long as you're playing with more than 3 players, you get that third place one. Then we're going to go into this sacrifice bag. We're going to take out all the rituals that have been placed in there by all the players, and we're also going to empty out all of the mana that was played during that ceremonial offering. All of these rituals have a cost on them, and we're going to order them out from least expensive to most expensive, and that's the order in which these rituals may be triggered. If there's a tie, as in here, whoever's higher up on the ceremonial track gets to put their card first, and once we've laid all of these out, we then start to trigger them. We start down here. Now this one costs 2, in which case we take 2 mana out of this pool and it goes back into the supply, and that ritual is going to get triggered. Now for all these rituals, you can probably see there's loads of different ones there. If I tell you there's an A4 piece of paper which is double-sided to show all of the rituals in the game, you'll forgive me for not going through all of them. Suffice to say, for example, this one played by white is going to get them 10 mana to whoever has got the least priest, and obviously white put it in because they've got the fewest priests. They're going to give you commodities, they're going to give you assistance, they're going to give you endgame points, they're going to move you up the tattoo track, they're going to do everything within the game, and if you're playing the advanced version, they can also attack the other players. Now I said the first one gets triggered, and we'll take the mana out of the pool. We'll then go along doing the same thing. The next one costs 3, take 3 mana out of the pool, and it will get triggered. And eventually you'll get to the point where all of the mana has gone out of the pool, and lots of these rituals have been triggered, but you're going to get to the stage where we cannot afford to pay for one anymore. For example, let's say we had 5 left and it was 10 to pay for the next one. All rituals from there onwards are no use. They get thrown away and the clips go back to the players, and all mana that may be left in there is going to go back into the sacrifice bag, ready to power up rituals next time around. Now, the last thing you get to do then during the ceremonial round is these toa missions, which I have discussed. In ceremonial order, you get to come over here, and there are 2 different types of toa missions. You either have to show that you have something. For example, if Orange went and they could prove that they had 2 assistants of this particular type, it happens to be those pole divers we discussed earlier, they can say, look, I've got these 2. They would take this, flip it over, and it's 2 points to them at the end of the game. Similarly, blue has got at least 6 priests. They can say, I have 6 priests, I don't have to spend them, flip it over, and it's 2 points for them. These other ones without a red border, you have to pay that amount in. You'd have to have one of these white commodities, or you'd have to pay in 16 mana or 8 pearls, or whatever it may be. And you continue along the order of ceremonial. When a player passes, they can no longer come in again, and once all the players have passed, or all the missions have done, we're then going to move on. Now, if it's not the 3rd ceremonial round, then you're going to flip over the rest of the toa missions in the next order. In this case, these 3s will all get flipped over. And then you're going to carry on with the action rounds. And you're going to play 6 in a 3-player game, 5 in a 4-player game, 4 in a 5-player game. After the 3rd ceremonial round, everything's done and dusted, and you're going to score your points. Now, how are you going to score points? Some of these rituals will give you endgame scoring. The rank you've got to on the tattoo track will give you a certain amount of endgame scoring. Your masks are then going to give you endgame scoring if you've collected the pair and you do whatever they say, and it's a case of certain toa missions, having certain commodities, having, again, certain assistance, lots of different ways in which those masks are going to score. And the last thing are these toa missions that you've collected. You add those points to your total. Whoever has scored the most points is then going to be the winner of Raiatea. This has been a Game Pit Stop. For more videos like this, check out our YouTube channel. For more in-depth coverage of gaming, please check out the Game Pit podcast. Thank you.